Hello, welcome back to the stream, everyone. Big thank you for joining me today alongside our usual Wednesday guest. Do make sure before you do anything else, do drop a like on the stream, please. And we'll get cracking. If you happen to be new, do make sure you subscribe as well. We've got Cody in the chat. We've got Debut Master, Stevo, how you doing, my friend? And Crypto Pappy says, just dropped the guinea pig off at a pet hotel. Let's get some trades in. That sounds very interesting. Okay. But yeah, my good friend, Save with Crypto, how are you doing, mate? Great to welcome you back to the stream again.
Oh, well, it's nice to be back. It's all good actually. It's been an interesting week since we last spoke, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You could call it that.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've got stuff to talk about anyway, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, so obviously in the hour or so before the stream, we obviously got the news that China's put 80% tariffs on the US, which has sent Bitcoin crashing down. It was having a nice little pump up today as well, obviously after coming down to retest around 84k last night. And it was having, it's chugging away quite nicely, and then bang, been took to the slammer yet again by news. Obviously, that is reciprocal with the S&P 500 coming back down towards last night's lows. However, we are currently holding, and you can kind of see a little diagonal that's kind of holding on the S&P at the moment. Don't know whether that's over on Bitcoin as well. Let's have a look. I imagine it probably is. Not so much. This was more of a kind of horizontal retest, wasn't it? But definitely on the S&P, we're getting some kind of diagonal support coming in. But yeah, we'll see what we get. Obviously, got US Open coming in soon, and we'll obviously discuss tariffs, what could maybe be next for the market, and so on. But what have you been up to over the past week, mate? How's your trading been going? What's your view on the markets? And obviously, this never-ending death spiral on tariffs coming in.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts. Well, basically, the last time I was on the show, it was April the 2nd, wasn't it? So that was the what was that now? That was the what did he do? That was the announcement of the tariffs, wasn't it? Yeah, when he had that kind of board up with all the numbers on.
Oh right. Oh, was that last Wednesday? Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened then was I basically just set the bot up during the stream, hadn't I? So
yeah.
So at that point, it was looking really, really good, and then it kind of wasn't. So I will want to talk about that during the stream anyway, and just say how that journey with my bot's gone and how I could have played it better. I think that would be interesting anyway. But yeah, I mean, bearing that in mind, I've actually been shying away from crypto a little bit, and I've gone back to my newer idea, which is trading traditional stocks on trading 212 is what I'm using. And part of the reason I did that is because you can put, like, if you're in the UK, you can put 20 grand into a stocks ISA in any one tax year. So that tax year for the UK starts on April the 5th. So what I did was last week I put in like 20 grand into that. And then I think I've got this right. I believe what you do, that's your allowance. And then if you make any money within that, then that's tax free.
I believe that is what it is. Yeah, I think
because that's worked out pretty well so far. So what I did was when things went like really, really bad and like you get a real red day, I just think for things that I know are good, and I just bought some Palantir. I bought a little bit of Tesla actually. I'm still hanging on to that at the moment.
Okay.
Tesla. What else did I buy? Bought some Nvidia. And then, the following day when everything recovers a little bit, I've just been selling it. I'm not doing it with leverage or anything like that. I'm just literally just buying and selling it. Yeah. So that 20 grand is now like 21,350 or something. So that's like a grand, like it's like 1,300 quid in a week, isn't it? Of what essentially is tax-free earnings, isn't it? So I think that's pretty cool, really. So we're in the new tax year now, so in theory I could stick another 20 grand in as well. I could be playing with 40 grand, and I could be doing the stuff with traditional stocks, and I don't know, because of that, I think it's because I've got a bit of money to play with that I don't want to risk too much as well. I don't want to like do anything leverage with it. So because of that, I've actually been quite enjoying the traditional stocks and stuff, and I must say that if you pick on something like Tesla and then put the 1 hour Stonksy on, it does it pretty well, actually. It gives you a good idea of when you should be buying and selling, and I kind of enjoy that. I also like how it's just in those ones. It's just in the US trading hours. So it means you can go to sleep at night without things going mental.
Yeah.
And, so that's what I've been doing. So I've actually made more money with traditional stocks this week than I have with crypto.
I mean, it's difficult out there, well, in all aspects at the moment, isn't it, with what's going on? But particularly, it's very hard to try and trade alts at the moment. Bitcoin obviously has been a bit easier because it's the market mover. You don't have to worry about something. Well, apart from the S&P and other factors, you don't really have to worry about much else. Whereas when you trade in alts, we've got the whole factor of what's happening to the S&P, then knocked onto Bitcoin, then knocked onto then obviously alts. So yeah, I mean, Bitcoin wise, we are getting a little pushback up as well at the moment.
Yeah.
I actually think we are going to rally today. I think we're going to push up. I think the market is going to shrug off all this annoying tariff news, and I think we are going to get a push up. That's my estimation anyway. What do you think, mate? Because I think we kind of reached... I think this is kind of getting peak silliness now around the tariffs. I think we're kind of getting peak silliness, clown show, whatever you want to call it. But, obviously the US hitting China with 100%, China hitting the US with 80-odd%. There will be a point, and I have mentioned this in previous streams recently as well, similar to the market surrounding when the Fed was hiking interest rates in 2022, and obviously when the US had high inflation. It got to a point where obviously, inflation peaked, and obviously the Fed was coming towards, what would be considered the terminal rate and stuff like that. But it started to have less of an effect on the market. The more something happens, the less of an effect it has. So I think the market will slightly become, desensitized to this tariff news because, at some point, whether this is it or not, we're kind of going to reach, the peak of this tariff silliness, aren't we? So that's my view on it. I think, I mean, and you'd be looking at it now and go, okay, well, yeah, tariff this, tariff that, but how much worse can these tariffs get, between the US and China? And what are they going to do, slap 200% on each other next? It'd just become a bit of a clown show, wouldn't it? So I think maybe the market's maybe just shrugs it off a little bit. I mean, could be wrong. Maybe we just absolutely drop and the arse falls out of it. Yeah. But I think, kind of, there's kind of peak fear in the market now, isn't there? Everyone's kind of losing their minds, just fear everywhere. So I don't think it's maybe not a bad opportunity to kind of bet against the fear now and, bet against what's currently going on, which is my view anyway. So I think maybe we have a nice little rally today. We'll see. Okay.
So you'd say you're like short-term bullish for the moment, yeah?
I think today, yeah. I mean, obviously we're moving into CPI tomorrow. So I think we've got some room, barring any more headlines to cause a sell-off. Similar to obviously what I was looking for yesterday. I'm still looking for this. So if it comes, great. If it doesn't, we'll we can reevaluate. But I think it gives it the opportunity to squeeze, obviously, into a key event tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's, the famous saying in it, last week, Bitcoin was holding up extremely well against TradFi. And then obviously on Sunday, we got the cascade down. But so far, obviously, given that, we have had this cascade down again overnight, coming back to retest there. I think Bitcoin has held up quite well, considering where it is. It's still at 76. I think probably many would have thought we'd be in the 60s by now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, if you zoom out to like the weekly or even the monthly chart, if you look back to like last November,
this bit,
but you see like about when the Trump won the election, that was about November the whatever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that pump from there would pretty much retrace the whole lot.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So I'll maybe get, is that the weekly?
Yeah. Let me get a clear chart. There you go. That's more clear.
So what was it? November the 14th, was it? Or no, it was November the 5th, wasn't it? I remember thinking it was a funny day because that's the day Guy Fawkes tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah. If only someone would do that now while it was full.
I actually love that about the UK. I love how we celebrate a guy who tried to sort of like destroy the government. It's brilliant.
Yeah, we need a modern day Guy Fawkes, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We need a modern day. When there's Prime Minister's questions going on, someone just light up the whole thing.
Yeah, so that was November the 5th. So where's that on your chart?
So that's this week here. So this was obviously because it was a Tuesday, wasn't it? Yeah. So there's Monday. So that was Monday the 4th. So this was the week. Yeah.
So yeah, all that excitement about the crypto president and all that, it's all gone.
Yeah. I know.
I was talking to my eldest daughter about this the other day, and we were saying, like, I mean, some jobs that people have. I mean, you think about someone like a brain surgeon or something. Me with like, I don't know, any amount of training or whatever, I wouldn't want to do that, and I don't think I'd be any good at it, and I just couldn't do that job. Yeah. However, Trump's job, I mean, it's just basically pulling numbers out your arse and doubling them, I mean, and then signing bits of paper. I mean, I'm sure I could do that. I really don't think that job is that hard,
Well, I think most of us could probably do, at least the Prime Minister job of the UK. You can't really do a much worse job, can you?
Yeah.
Than what's happening at the moment. I think we could all collectively do a better job than what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, you don't even need to worry about making a twat of yourself because they do that anyway, and everyone just goes, "Oh, that's because he's the Prime Minister."
Yeah, but everyone knows he's a twat anyway, don't they? It's just kind of like if he makes a twat out of himself, it's like, well, he is a twat, so who cares? Anyone who's strong Labour, I don't apologise.
Well, I don't know. I don't know these days. Actually, I tend to just vote Green because I think
because we like green in the markets.
Well, yeah, it's a good reason. Yeah, well, it's a good reason as any, really. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of going back to my grandma's method of voting, where she'd vote for the one with the nicest tie.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
She didn't care what care what colour it was. She just he looks very smart. He's got a nice tie. I'll vote for him.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, they should definitely have given. Yeah, no. I was going to talk about women and voting then, but yeah. Anyway, I better shut up.
Yeah, let's leave that bit out.
Anyway, yeah, they shouldn't allow grandmas to vote. No, but no, but I mean, to be honest, they're all useless, aren't they? But all right. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. So market-wise, at the moment, yeah, I do agree that just because it's so like playground-like, in it, it's like if you're going to do that, I'm going to do that. Well, I'm going to do that if you do that. Yeah. It's like that's what it's come to, isn't it? But you're talking about countries arguing with each other in the playground. It's just like, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, I think like anything like this, like we've seen, I think after a while, everyone's just, I think the market's got to stop, shitting the bed every time something happens, really.
Yeah.
'cause-
Well, that is kind of like why I'm thinking we'll rally, because it's kind of like getting to the point now, isn't it, where you've got to, you can't just keep selling off every time a headline comes in. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? Like any sort of mention of tariffs, and people just get scared and start selling straight away. The market reacts to it, where the market will start getting used to it and become less sensitive to it, which I think we're probably reaching. Should we have a look, see what's going on in the chat? We got Loki, Crypto J, how we doing? Thomas, what's good, my friend? Stonksy, Crypto Bro, Gold Sniper, how we doing? Another Dave. We got the Wiz, the legend Wiz. We got Justin saying send it to 0. We got Wiz, orange juice is printing. Wiz is loving his orange juice futures.
All right.
Still lots more upside, question mark, says Short Video Guru. We'll see, won't we? So, yeah, we will soon see. We'll soon see, that's for sure. But we have just over an hour until US Open. So we've got an hour and 10 minutes. So we'll get the poll going within the next 20 minutes, half an hour or so. But we have bounced up from, obviously, a low of around 75,752 from this drop down on Bitcoin. And we're back up around here. Obviously, if we go and have a look at the S&P, kind of hanging around there. Gold's obviously having a great day on the back of uncertainty. And what we're getting across altcoins, pretty much everything's either, minor red or minor green. So nothing too much, nothing I can see poking out, 3% there. But I don't think there's anything too crazy. What was that, up 4% and Jasmy? So yeah, nothing too crazy across altcoins today, it looks. So we'll see what happens on US Open. But yeah, I think we're prepared for maybe another wild week. Obviously, we have CPI coming in tomorrow. And then we have PPI on Friday. So they're the main events that are coming this week. CPI tomorrow at 1:30, so we'll be live for that. And then PPI on Friday at 1:30, we'll be live for that as well. Lee Scully says the bull market is over, no alt season. Thought this for 3 months now. Okay, interesting take. And Dan says greetings all. Greetings to you. FOMC, it's the minutes, mate. It's not an actual meeting. It's just the minutes. So it's the minutes from the last meeting last month. So the minutes will be released tonight, which is obviously just a dialogue from the last meeting. Unless there's an emergency one pending that I've not seen. I don't know. Is it an emergency one? If not, if it's the one that's scheduled in the FX calendar, it's just the minutes. So, we'll be able to see what he was talking about in the last meeting, but I don't think it should have too much of an effect.
Okay.
I don't think anyway. So yeah, I think that's where we're at. Minutes from disaster. It seems that way, doesn't it? We're probably just over an hour away from disaster. We'll see. So yeah, that's where we're at with all of that. So, are you in any positions at the moment, mate, or are you just flat?
I am in a really, really tiny Bitcoin long, actually.
Okay.
From pretty much where we are now, actually. I think I might close it though, because I do kind of agree with you that like there's enough of this tariff stuff, but I don't know. I'm not. Bitcoin doesn't look that strong to me, to be honest. Every time it tries to go up, there seems to be something that smacks it back, and it seems to want to go down more than it wants to go up. In my mind, I'm not sure really. Thing is, it's down so much, isn't it? It's like down from 109 to 70. What was it? 74 this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it wasn't a sweep of of Monday's low, but it got pretty close. We could have a look, can't we, to see what's in store.
Yeah.
Potentially, we can go and map out. So if we pop on, a range high somewhere around there,
Yeah.
we can pop on a range low. Where should we pop the range low? Pop the range low there. Because then you can always start to look and that's the wrong thing I need. You can always start to potentially look and plan for maybe worst case scenario, can't we? So we could put the mid range on there. So there's the mid range of the previous range. So let's put that there. And then, even if, we've then got obviously the origin of the rally 2021 high mixed in with here. So there's, the previous range mapped out there. I suppose we could even change that if we wanted to. Hang on. Put it in a dashed line. So if we fall, obviously to the downside, you would imagine, obviously, this is what we're falling into, isn't it? Which would then reopen, this as a trading range, wouldn't it? Unless we, fastly reclaim it, if we dropped in, unless we fastly reclaim, obviously, then if we come up and a rejection, then potentially, we're falling into the low 60s, maybe.
Yeah.
But, what does it need to reclaim? I think we've got, we've got some others, haven't we? We've got like the monthly open. So we could tag that on here. Let's put the monthly open on.
How did you do that?
Do what?
You just put them... Oh, were them horizontal rays there before? Or?
No, so this is an indicator called Spaceman BTC key levels.
Oh, nice.
So it automatically plots all the key levels that you want. You can go on and untick them and tick them if you want. It's a free indicator, like it just automatically plots. So, monthly open, yearly open, previous week high, low, Monday high, Monday low, stuff like that. It'll just automatically plot it for you on there.
Oh, that's nice.
It's quite nifty, to be fair, yeah. Quite nifty. So we've got some key levels there. Obviously, we've got, current demand here as well. Let's pop that there. Let's change that color. What color should we go with this, mate? I'll let you choose.
Today.
I'll tell you what, actually.
Green.
We'll go. we'll do it as a box instead.
Okay.
We'll do it as a little nifty box. We'll do it like up to there.
You like
and we'll give it a nice little name. We'll call it Demand. There we go. Okay, so got that. We got the monthly open. What else can we put on potentially that would be good? We've got this, which we can label the local. Good local range high. Like local range high. Obviously, we need to kind of break, maybe move it a bit up wherever. I'll put it on the daily closes there. And then, we could have some others, can't we? If we zoom down into, say, the 4 hour, we've obviously got this point here, this sticking point where price is coming in to resistance this week so far. But I think we'll leave it at that so far.
Mm-hmm.
Got demand down here. You've got areas of supply as well. But, more focused on, obviously, zooming out. If we break through here, then obviously we're coming in for kind of like a retest, aren't we? Of where should we put this? Put this about down there. We'll do. So label that key pivot. So we've got clear levels, obviously for what happens if we go into where. Do you think personally we hold here, or do you think maybe we start dipping in and exploring back inside this previous range?
I don't know. I think there's a little bit more up, and then I think there's still going to be like a really big crash, though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah. I don't know. I don't quite understand the market at the moment, to be honest. It's confusing me, to be honest. I kind of feel that when it was over 100k, it all felt wrong to me. It felt like it shouldn't be up there or shouldn't be there at the moment. I can't explain why, but it was just the numbers were too big, and I kind of feel that it needs to be lower for quite a while. That's the most rubbish explanation of anything, isn't it?
No, not really. No, not really. I mean, this is a key. This was a key level that was achieved, wasn't it? Very historical, hitting six figures for the first time. There is always the case, that maybe what your gut is telling you is right, and maybe this was kind of the top, and then whatever happens afterwards happens after.
Yeah.
You've obviously got some. I kind of know what you mean. I think it kind of unsettled me a bit more because of what's happened since. So, like the amount of liquidity that's been drained from the space, through scams and just stupid launches like the Trump coin, the Melania coin. You've got people that are in, a worse situation and I find it, I think it's actually crazy. So say from when, we obviously, we peaked out here. Obviously, this is when kind of alt started dropping, wasn't it? But, in this phase here, and we've only corrected about 30-35% on Bitcoin. I find it utterly crazy that people are worse off in terms of an altcoin perspective from this than through the whole of this. I think that's what stands out to me. And obviously, from a liquidity perspective, I know Wiz has shared a couple of stats on, just how thinly the liquidity is actually spread mathematically across the market per altcoin against last cycle.
Right.
But I think that the start thing that stands out to me is that people are a lot worse off on alts just from this than what happened through the whole of this. It's pretty surreal. I think that's kind of what kind of hits me the hardest. It's just like exactly what's happened with altcoins through all this. So see, we're coming back down to the downside. Oh man.
I mean, did you listen to Jordan's his premium AMA thing in Crypto Saving Expert last week?
I'm normally live when they go on the town halls. Like it's pretty much every single time. Yeah, it's around the same time that I stream, so I don't get to join them. Oh,
it is, yeah. Yeah, that was. I mean, it's always interesting to hear his perspective as well. But he, and his point was a little bit like I was saying the other week. Actually, saying with a lot of these altcoins, does anyone actually use them? Is there an altcoin that people actually use for the purpose it was created for? And I think the only one he liked was Swissborg, and like everything else, he just thought, well, it's all shit, So, I don't know. There is that as well, but also, these days, I mean, if an altcoin's older than 3 months, it's like a dino coin, So everyone's, I don't know. Everyone's talking about like things like fart coin now, and I mean, I don't know. It just seems, I don't know. There's way too many altcoins, I think, and I don't know. If people are expecting an altcoin season, then I don't think it's going to happen ever again, like what it did in whenever it was 2018.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting perspective in it because, where does the money kind of spread into them? I think it's probably more likely to be concentrated on, obviously a much smaller percentage compared to how many coins we've got at the moment. There just isn't enough liquidity in the market to send everything like everything got sent last cycle. Yeah. So you will have things doing, obviously in the right conditions, 5, 10, 20x. But then you'll also have things that maybe do 2, 3, simply because there's just not enough money spread across the market to be able to just pump everything like 50x in a week or whatever it is. So... yeah, I mean, it's an interesting perspective. And I think, whenever the time comes where you maybe start looking from wherever, whatever happens for the rest of this year, whether, we get another leg up or this was it, and we range and then break down whatever. I think, Bitcoin maybe potentially coming down to explore levels down here would provide a proper cleanup job of the market, because you'll have things just completely die off. And, I think that's probably something that a lot of people agree on, is that the market needs a proper cleanup job just to get rid of a lot of the stuff. Now, again, whenever that comes is obviously debatable. People may think that the bull runs over. People may think we still get one leg up. Maybe people think that we get, one mega leg up, whatever. Maybe we pull back deeper before we go up, whatever, your thesis is.
Yeah.
Whenever the time is right for price to come down here, you would imagine that's, a proper cleanup job of the industry and just really kill things off that shouldn't be around.
Yeah. And also, another thing Jordan was talking about as well was Michael Saylor, because like if the price goes down there, he's in trouble, isn't he? I think. And I used to think he was like, really interesting, and he had his head screwed on. I'm now thinking he's a lunatic, and I think that if MicroStrategy or whatever they're called, I think if that goes tits up, then I think that's going to have a massive effect on the whole industry, in a big way. And I don't know. I'm not as certainly not enthusiastic about crypto as I was like a year ago. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, the thing with Michael Saylor is I think he's pretty much become like Marmite, hasn't he? I know I've discussed. I was actually talking about Michael Saylor yesterday on stream, and then I know I talked about it with Justin on stream. But he is pretty much like Marmite. Whatever you think of him, people either like him or they don't. People either think he's doing something great, or people think he's doing something completely, of a lunatic.
Yeah, but Marmite's not dangerous though.
Well, this is the thing, innit? Is what I was asking on stream yesterday, was at what point does MicroStrategy actually become dangerous? So that's one thing I'm interested to actually get like a concrete answer. Justin sent something to me interesting yesterday. From what I gathered on it, it sounded like MicroStrategy are pretty safe, I think, regarding the money they've borrowed.
I heard you talking about that. I was driving at the time.
So from what I gathered on it, it sounded like people they're pretty safe in the money they've borrowed, regardless of what happens to Bitcoin and the MicroStrategy price. So yeah, I mean, but if you just look at the chart, it's already had a big retrace. Maybe will it come and revisit this range? Probably at some point, yeah. But in terms of, potentially them being in danger in the market, from what I understand, I don't think they're as in danger as maybe what people think if Bitcoin tanks. But then again, I'm not an expert on anything like that, so I don't know. I don't really know a lot about the convertible senior notes they've done and stuff like that. So, yeah. We'll just have to see. I mean, from a completely selfish point of view, I don't know if it's possible or not, but him blowing up would provide the greatest Bitcoin buying opportunity we'll probably ever see from now onwards. And that's just completely selfishly, obviously to get an entry of 10k, wherever it would send the price, on a completely selfish level. Would you like him to blow up? Well, would you like to buy Bitcoin 80% lower from here? I think probably most people would say yeah, wouldn't they? So, yeah, from a completely selfish point of view, obviously it would probably be nice for him to blow up, but from what I understand, I don't think he can. But naturally you will get attention on him. Maybe if we do drop low on Bitcoin, the closer we get to his average entry, you'll probably start seeing more people talk about him, more tweets, maybe more articles about him, as opposed to how it was up here. When price was up here, everyone was obviously lauding him for his genius and stuff like that, because he was tens of billions in profit as he was top blast in this range. So yeah, just everything works in kind of cycles, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, my feelings on him, I don't really have any, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really have any. I don't know, because I don't know enough about what he's doing to know if it's actually like a point where if say if Bitcoin dropped to 50k, would they potentially have to sell some to repay investors and stuff like that? I don't really know enough about the convertible senior notes. But from a selfish point of view, would it be good if he had to sell 500,000 Bitcoin? for everyone that wants to buy a lot lower, yeah. Apart from that, I don't really know.
Yeah. What was Justin's lower level? It was something like 13 grand, wasn't it?
Justin's lowest level, I don't know. Maybe we could ask him in the chat. Justin, Justin is in the chat. Yeah, Justin, what is your macro time frame? Lowest, nastiest, most horrible level for Bitcoin to drop to over the next couple of years if you had to do peak absolute destruction. Yeah,
that was a nice bit of nice flavoursome words you were using there. That was great. It was great. Yeah.
I mean, a retest of the FTX flows would be pretty low, like, wouldn't it? But anyway, I'll do the I'll just have to jump on. Yeah, we're talking about the Celine Dion level, mate. We're talking about full, like, ship's gone down, everyone's sank, everyone's in the water, ice cold water. People are scrambling for lifeboats. Proper nasty, horrible circumstance.
I noticed Cyprian in the chat. He's saying, "Am I looking at stocks to buy?" I'm actually looking at Apple. Actually,
okay.
Apple's come down massively. The only thing I can't work out with Apple is how is that going to work with the tariffs affecting it? Because Apple stuff is generally, designed in the US and built in China, isn't it? So do they have to pay? Do they have to pay? I mean, what? I don't know. How does that work?
They have to pay tariffs. Yeah.
So does that mean that every Apple product is going to double in price now in the US?
I think this is the thing. I saw yesterday that Apple had flown in 5 airplanes full of iPhones into the US before obviously tariffs went live this morning to avoid the tariffs.
Jesus.
So yeah, they'd flown 5 airplanes full of iPhones in to obviously get like a quick emergency amount of stock in before the tariffs gone live. Now for us, I don't think it will really affect us because obviously products don't go from from China to the US to here. I don't imagine. I imagine Apple products that are sold here go directly from China to here. So I don't think really we'll have an effect, but maybe everyone in the US, maybe an iPhone that previously cost $1,000 maybe is now costing $2,000. I don't know.
Yeah. So I quite fancy getting one of those new MacBook Air M4s, the M4 MacBook Air. I've got an M1 MacBook Air at the moment that I must admit I still love, but I like using 2 computers. So so
I'll tell you something interesting, mate. If you're looking at Apple, obviously currently as it stands on the weekly, we are below the 200 weekly moving average. But I think I can't see it closing below, and I can't see it closing below for long. Not yet anyway. But when you look at the Mag 7, obviously we've got Apple there below its 200 weekly moving average, having touched. But I believe it's the only one that has got like immediate touching distance to the rest. So yeah, you got Microsoft, which still is about another 10% or so away. Right. You've obviously got Amazon, which again, is about another 10% away. You got Tesla, which is not really, not as conclusive as the rest because it's spent a long time chopping and over the past couple of years chopping up and down around its 200. Doesn't really seem to have any sort of play on Tesla or any significance, the 200 weekly moving average. But compared to the rest, the rest are looking like they're coming into contact with them now or very soon anyway. You've obviously got Google there, about another 10% away. But in terms of, the Mag 7 minus Tesla, you've got Apple, which is sliced through. So, maybe, maybe there's some weight to be took to that. I don't know.
Okay. So, So probably at open, I probably am looking at doing some stuff. So I need to decide a buy price for Apple. What I think might be a low for Apple, and I've also got a bag of Tesla that I bought at $220.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll be looking to sell that as well. So that's probably what I want to do at open, is sell the Tesla and then maybe think about buying some Apple. I think that's my plan. So what? So what do you reckon is a good buy price for Apple then? Do you reckon now we're below that 200? Do you think it'll drop more?
Well, I mean, I think we're kind of close to the. I think we're kind of close to. I don't buy that we're just suddenly on the cusp of a complete meltdown. You know, if you look at the S&P, this is another thing that we covered on Monday, but you know, the S&P isn't too far away from its 200 weekly moving average either.
Right.
You know, we did get very close to it, but you know, at current price, we're about just shy of 5% away from its 200 weekly moving average. Yeah, I mean, I think with Apple, it's interesting in it because maybe I imagine Apple now is probably the one that has maybe got most uncertainty around it because they have probably that many products made in China that it is probably the one where, you know, if this continues and stuff like that, it may get hit the hardest. So I don't know. I was looking at it, and obviously with it coming in towards its 200 weekly moving average, but how long these tariffs go on for, and you know, the impact on Apple, because obviously, you know, we'll have to be fair, actually, we've only just entered Q2, so it's not like we'll have any negative earnings on it for a long time. Yeah, you know, true. For a good few months. But you know, maybe if there's no sort of resolution, you know, in the next week, 2 weeks or something, does that start to have a real hit on the stock price? Because I imagine every Apple product is made in China.
I think so as well. I mean, the thing about Apple is, I mean, you know, their products are always going to sell, aren't they? You know, and I must admit, what they've just done with this M4 MacBook Air, it just looks brilliant, you know, and it's actually not expensive. It's like $1,000, you know, for like the best laptop you can buy, you know.
Yeah.
And,
I think I've got an M2 MacBook Air. Let me just try and find out. And I love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
I mean,
so mine is, I'll tell you exactly what mine is, mate. Mine is a 15-inch MacBook Air. Doesn't say, I think it's M2, I think.
You know what year it is?
I bought it nearly a year ago now.
Yeah, it might even be an M3 one actually, but it's possible. But anyway, but they're brilliant machines. I mean, I actually bought the Air myself because it's not got a fan in it, and I thought for doing videos and stuff, you know, I don't want to hear a fan.
Yeah.
Because I just use the mic in the computer.
And you know what as well? I've found, you know, streaming and recording videos and stuff, there has been no sort of like lag. There's been no sort of clunkiness or anything with my MacBook Air when, you know, streaming, recording videos, whatever. It's handled everything so far. And obviously I've been streaming since, I think, the back end of October now. Yeah. So, you know, about a good 6 months, and it's handled everything.
Yeah.
I just got to run through some comments, mate. Hang on. We've got Debbie Master saying they were saying iPhones would cost $3,000 if built in the USA. Justin says, I've heard China, US have a trade deal in place. This is just public pantomime to bring US bond yields down. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are smoke and mirrors, aren't they? A lot of things are smoke and mirrors. And it wouldn't surprise me if maybe they were keeping on going on this to try and really cause look at this, we're getting a nice pump on Bitcoin. Yeah. Just to really wreak some havoc in the markets and shake people out, and, you know, obviously put the prices into a position where institutions start scooping up obviously as much as they can and then send it back up. Because we saw the other day, when was it, yesterday or no, it was Monday, wasn't it, I think, when we had that fake Trump had suspended tariffs for 90 days news, and the market absolutely rocketed. for a good hour or so before it come out that it was fake. But it shows you that the appetite is there on the market to rally on any sort of positive news.
Yeah.
So maybe there's hanging fire, just getting the last bit of circus fun out of it before any sort of resolutions announced.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I'm favouring Apple at the moment, because I think there's nothing wrong with the company. They've got great products. They've just brought out the new M4 MacBook Air. It's all good. The only problem is most of the stuff's made in China. Although Rick Mendez in the comments did just say that the MacBook Pro is made in America. I don't know if that's true.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if the one you buy here would be made in the States. I can't see it, to be honest. But
I think I know. With the Mac Pro, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, so I think at the moment we're at the maximum of it's going to be 104% tariff on China. I can't see that going up to 208%. So I think that's got to turn around soon. And I think at that point, that I think the market will be good. So
I mean, this is alongside my kind of feelings now. Is whatever's going on, we're kind of reaching peak. Whatever you want to call it, whether you want to call it a trade war, whether you want to call it a clown show, whatever you want to call it, whatever your opinion is on it, you kind of look at it and you think, how much more ridiculous can this get before some sort of settlement is reached? Because let's be honest, obviously, when you look at it as in the public eye, you've got obviously one side going at another side going at another, but there's no doubt about it. China is a huge exporter to the US, innit? Yeah. So, they don't want to lose that trade. And also, the biggest hit on tariffs is small businesses, innit? Small businesses that, right, just simply wouldn't be able to afford, obviously products, either paying higher prices for imported goods, or obviously, if something's made in that country and it costs more. Obviously the profit margins are shrunk considerably, aren't they, for small businesses? So, yeah, I mean, agreement will be reached, where, like Justin says, whether it's reached in private already and stuff like that or whatever. But we are getting a nice pump on Bitcoin, and I am pretty happy with my long so far. Did you end up keeping yours open, mate, or have you closed it?
I have. I've just put a stop loss at break even now, so currently 15% in profit, so that's okay. Right, I did want to talk about the bot thing. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do that later? Or?
Yeah, we'll do it now. Running up. We do have, do make sure you vote in the poll. We've got 50-50 so far with 24 votes. And do please make sure you drop a like on the stream. We've got 45 people watching with 18 viewers. 18 likes. So do make sure you go over, take a second to drop a like on the video. And if you are new, please do subscribe. Also, check the links in the description if you want to trade anything today, Bitcoin or altcoin wise. Do make sure you sign up to BLOFIN. Link is in the description. But yeah, go on, mate. We can head over to some bot discussion if you want.
Yeah, I've just realised though, sort of. It's because I've opened it in Safari and StreamYard won't let me show that tab.
It should do. I show Safari.
Oh.
When I go on share screen.
Hang on. Oh, I see. It shows it. Yeah, okay, that'll do, I think. Hang on, let me just check what's open there. That's all right, yeah. Right. Okay, so can we see that? Should be a blow.
I will put mine off and put yours on, mate, and then we should be good to go. Yes, we're on. Okay. W Master says fear is peak, and Math says, do you buy into the theory that Trump is intentionally tanking a dollar backroom deal to help China? I don't really know anything about that, no, but I do think there's probably a big part of him that wants to kind of maybe try and back Powell into a corner to reduce rates. And if this is maybe one route where he gets there, then he probably would want that. Now, I don't think we're anywhere close to Powell being backed into a corner to reduce rates. Powell's very clear, and he always has been, that he wants to see the job through. He's not willing to change course. He's not willing to do what is told to him. He wants to see the job through and only cut rates when, the Fed sees fit. Where Trump, obviously, first thing he did when he come in, well, one of the first things was say, we'd like Powell to cut rates. So, maybe if Trump is trying to apply some pressure onto Powell to cut rates, that is, potentially one other factor. But I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're a long way, potentially maybe another steep drop away on the S&P before that's even really considered by Powell, in my opinion, anyway. Obviously, I'm not in his head, so I don't know. But It's pretty... I can't see him cutting rates just because we've had a 15, 16, 17% drop on the S&P. They'd be completely reactionary and not how Powell has worked so far. So that's my opinion on it. Right.
Anyway, so just to show you what's happening here. So what I did last Wednesday was from scratch, I set up the Stonksy bot in this BLOFIN account here. At the time, actually on the 2nd of April here, you can see that I actually put in, that adds up to about pretty much $250, 250 USDT. And you can see here the current balance is 212. So the bot has actually lost a little bit of money over the week. So I just wanted to talk about what actually happened and how I could have improved it. So let's go to trading, and then then I go to. I
think what we'll do, we'll just also just mention that you chose to use traditional settings, didn't you? Not smart settings.
I did, yeah.
Shows your own leverage and obviously margin size and stuff.
Yeah. So so here you can see what I did was I had cost per order. I set that to 200. I also increased the leverage up to 10, so it's normally at 3 by default. So that's what I did there. I think everything else I just left, didn't I? So that's what I did. Okay. So at the moment the bot isn't in a trade. It actually closed one this morning. So what I did, I probably chose a really bad day to set it up, because I did it on the tariff news day, the announcement when Trump had that big board with all the tariffs on. And I mean, what happened there was the price went way up, didn't it? It went absolutely mad for like a few minutes, and then it came back down again. And I did notice that this trade here. I did notice this trade was like really in profit. It was something like about 35% in profit at one point. I was thinking, like, shall I just close that, because I'm pretty sure it's going to come down? And I decided not to. I decided not to in every circumstance during the week, because I thought I just want to set it and then come back a week later and show you what happens, sort of thing. Anyway, so that one was actually quite bad. That was actually a 23% loss. Now, that, bear in mind, I'm using 10x leverage rather than 3x, so obviously that's going to be amplified. But nevertheless, that was quite a bad start, really. And then it did a couple of other little trades where it lost 6% and 5%. And then this one here, the 4th, that was Friday, wasn't it? So Friday it gained a little bit back, like $10, and then it did one on Sunday. So Sunday it lost $13 again, and at this point I'm thinking, like, this is pretty rubbish, and then it redeemed itself a little bit on yesterday, actually. Yesterday, by closing a trade with a 4.06% profit. That's like 7 USDT. And then this morning it was in a short. This short was really good, actually, because it went in at 78,434 and it closed at 77,685. Now, I did actually wake up in the middle of the night and I did check my phone actually to see how this was, and it was when the price was right down near 74 or 75. And this actually was, at that point, that was, I think it was like $60 in profit. and I was thinking, shall I just close that now?
Mm-hmm.
I decided not to, A, because I was half asleep, and well, 3/4 asleep actually, and B, I just wanted to leave it as it is for the stream. And actually, what it did, it closed this morning at that price there, 18.42. So overall, I could have got much better results by closing it when that Trump speech was going on the 2nd, and also when I saw it this morning at quite a big profit. So it's actually making me think now that what I should probably do is, if I'm going to play with leverage and stuff and not leave it like it is out of the box, then what I should probably be doing is maybe setting a take profit, which you can do here, can't you?
Yeah.
You can do that here. So if I'd have set that something like, 10% or something, it would have closed both of those.
Yeah.
Trades.
I mean, the thing, I know this is obviously something as well that, a few people have discussed in the Discord in it about potentially refining it. And I know, there's a few people that have put in, Pappy, I don't know if he's still in the comment section, has kind of got a real good method into how he manages the trades and stuff once the bots open them. Obviously he uses traditional settings as well, but potentially one is, maybe you don't have to manage it too much. So maybe if you're going on here, maybe you set a take profit of, obviously this is just thinking out loud, not to you personally, but like a take profit of something if it got really, if a trade went really good, so say like 30%. And then if it did go that high, it automatically closes it. And then, you can always manage them and stuff manually if you want to, or just obviously go along with the bot. But, you carry on if you want, mate. Sorry, I just thought, I'll go in because it's obviously interesting, in it. I think a few people are doing a few different things. Some people are leaving them on smart settings, which is obviously a lot less risk. Obviously, traditional settings, changing the margin and the leverage, obviously ups the risk per trade and stuff like that. But potentially, alongside that, the reward. So maybe introducing, take profits and stuff like that. Because if you was to get, 30%, and then it closes, you could then maybe look at compounding, couldn't you? You could change your order size per order to 10-20% higher than that and stuff. But yeah, you carry on, mate, with what you were saying. It was good hearing that.
It's disappeared for a bit, so sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all right. Oh, you're back now.
So I haven't a clue what you said. I was basically trying to find this. I was trying to find the Medium article which describes this particular bot that I'm using. So there's two bots. There's the high frequency bot and there's a low frequency one.
Yeah. Oh, I will just put in there, sorry, mate, and just say Dean is going to be changing up the low frequency bot to another kind of like high frequency type of bot. So obviously the low frequency one takes a lot less trades than the high frequency, but he is going to be changing that strategy up, so that'll be something really to look forward to, because I've seen he's trying a few different strategies and a few different testers, and so far some of them are looking very juicy. Okay. So that should be quite interesting to see whenever he decides which one to roll out. Okay.
That's great. Now obviously that is a good point to mention, is the fact that the strategies are going to get refined over time, and they should get better and better. And the way Dean's done this is he's got the strategy and he's plugged it into the strategy tester in TradingView. Excuse me. And he's back tested it with loads of data for I'm guessing like a year or so's data, whatever, and it's coming out very, very favourable. But obviously, because it's a bot, it's not going to win every trade, and it doesn't know about, like at the moment, it doesn't know about real world events happening, like Trump's speech or tariff announcements. It doesn't know about that, so it's just relying on the actual Stonksy indicator signals, if you like. So it's going to get better and better. Now, one week is not enough to come to a conclusion about how well the bot's working, I don't think. I think what I want to do is I want to look at this every week and actually see how it's doing, and hopefully what we'll see over time is the win rate increasing and hopefully turning into something very, very profitable. Just to show you this Medium article which describes the actual strategy. Excuse me. So what this is looking for the background on Stonksy to change color. Okay, it's also looking for the arrow signals, the little triangles being bullish or bearish, and it's also looking for the alternate time frame agreement. Now, at the moment, does this actually say what they are? It doesn't, does it? It doesn't say what the time frames are. But if you look here, looking at the past performance, the total profit and loss from the past month when this was written was a 30% gain, and the win rate was 57%. So 57% means that it's only going to win just over half the trades at the moment. For the last week, I forgot what it was now, but I think it won like 3 out of about 7 trades. So it's I think in time I think we'll see it looking really good anyway. So I was a bit disappointed at first, but I think given time it'll be all right. I also realized is that if I'd have just bought Bitcoin and done nothing with it, I would be in a much worse situation. So
yeah,
it's weird though. Obviously, if I'd have just got USDT and hung on to it, I'd be $40 better off. But yeah, so if I'd have just bought Bitcoin, it would have gone down in value over that week. But because I was using the bot, it didn't. So there's that as well, really. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that, and I will report on this from week to week and tell you how it's going, really. But I think it'll be all right in time, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing is, as well, I think obviously tied into the period that you've started, we have seen mass price action surrounded by headlines, which typically we don't normally see as well. So, for instance, today, you could be riding up a great trade. So for instance, I got long this morning. It's a good example. I got long from about 76,500. Then the price went up to just shy of 78, all looking good. It came back down a bit. And then at the time of the obviously the tariffs on the US from China, price was at 77,500. Then suddenly I found myself underwater, remarkably.
All right.
Because of obviously the sheer sell-off on the tariff news. So it is interesting. Obviously, we don't know when headlines are coming out like this, and I imagine maybe 1, 2, 3 of them trades has maybe been in potentially some volatility from headlines, because we've obviously seen a lot of them over the past week, haven't they? So when markets are calmer, or at least markets aren't trading around headlines so much like they are at the moment, and so sensitive to any sort of news, the waters are a lot more calm as well, and it can just go on based on price action. But nothing can kind of counter that. You can't foresee. If I knew that news was going to come out today, I would have closed and then reopened my long from lower. But you kind of just have to either swallow it, don't you, or obviously in a bot's circumstance, maybe just carry on with it. Or obviously it doesn't know why price is doing that, because it's obviously a bot, not a human.
Yeah. That said, when you had Dean on the show the other week, he was saying that in the future, what they want to do is to make the bot a bit more intelligent, so that it will know about events happening, like PCI data and farming payroll, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It will know about that, and it will know what strategy worked best in the past when that happened, so it could actually change the strategy around those events. I think that's brilliant, actually. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
So,
I think what he said was give it a brain, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, that was his expression. Yeah,
give it a brain, which, yeah, I mean, it will be a pretty remarkable achievement if you can get it off. I mean, currently 20 minutes away from US Open now as well, and we are hovering around. It's trying to push back up, isn't it, to around 78k or 77k or just above. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stick, having seen, I think we haven't fully, but we've retraced a lot of that dump. I think I'm going to stick with my thesis that we go up today. What do you think, mate?
Trying to get a clue from Stonksy. I probably should, really. I don't know. What does that mean when it's got a little green arrow there on the 5 minute, but it's on a red background? Is the green arrow more stronger than the background? Is that?
I don't think I've ever seen that before. What settings do you have on your
that's a good point.
Your arrow?
On the arrow, let's have a look. That's so I've got,
on inputs it'll be.
Right, so I'm looking at alternative time frame 1 hour, and I've got it's just that, isn't it? Show green arrows and show red arrows.
So I have my sensitivity on 8.
Do you?
Yeah. And something I've been passing on to Dean, which might, give a little clue or allude to what, maybe potentially coming with the switch over to the low time frame. But if you now go on, so you've put it on 8, if you now go on the 5 minute chart, are you on the 5 minute chart? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So press OK to cement that in.
So you happy with?
Yeah. Confirmation period 1. Yeah. Sensitivity 8.
Okay.
If you go back and have a look, when I've found that when you get a background color change and then you get an arrow soon after, the move is pretty like bob on each time that happens.
So you actually want the arrow?
So you want the background color change plus the arrow.
Okay.
I think the 6 minute chart works very well as well. Obviously that yesterday has made me just eat my words there. that's a bit of an anomaly. So we've had that come in, and then obviously that closed a little bit thingy. But if you go back and actually have a look, when you get the background color change on the 5 minute and the 6 minute as well, if anyone wants to have a look at that.
Yeah. That was good. That was good.
Yeah, but if you go back and have a look, it pretty much every time it happens, it pretty much nails the move completely.
Oh wow, that's
so yeah, just something to look at for anyone interested in. I don't know whether there was a red hour on there, because obviously we've got the alternative.
Yeah, there is.
Oh yeah, there. Yeah. So that nailed that. And then if you carry on going back and having a look, I've found pretty much most of the time again there.
Yeah.
It's it's probably going to come out break even or a small loss at some points, but in terms of obviously getting this volatility that we've had, it's worked remarkably well.
That is cool, actually.
So
yeah.
All right. I've been following that along on stream. It's something I noticed on stream, actually. I just started noticing. Okay, so when the arrow's coming in there on the 5 minute alongside the background, that looks pretty tasty.
Okay. I mean, I know Jordan's been using the 5 minute quite a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So obviously that would have been brilliant here on Monday. Okay, so what you were saying is what do I think? Let's have a look at my little EMAs as well. Let's have a look at something like Okay. Well, we're still going down, I would say, for a bit. And we've got 15 minutes to go. Let me just have a look. See what I'm always doing here. These are these EMAs that I like. These the yellow is a 21 EMA and the green is a 55 EMA. And I look for where these cross on various time frames. So at the moment, this looks a bit indecisive here because it's crossing backwards and forwards on the 15-minute time frame.
Yeah.
So if that's looking indecisive, I'd go for a higher time frame, something like the 30-minute. And at the moment, the yellow is below the green, but that is kind of starting to bottom out a little bit. God, it's hard to say. I think you might be right. I think we might get a bit of a pump up. If so, is that a double bottom?
Well, that's something that I was looking at. Yeah.
In which case, that's quite bullish, isn't it?
Yeah, because we kind of got the same pattern on the S&P as well.
Yeah, and also this is interesting as well. The CME closed from last Friday. It closed at 84,475. Now the week before last, that didn't close until the Friday. But I do think we'll get up there during this week. I'm just not quite sure when. It's going to be news driven though, isn't it? That's the thing. It's like, one bit of news like we've seen is just going to send it or kill it.
Yeah, I think the markets are just waiting. Like we mentioned before about the pump that we got from the news on Monday about that fake, 90-day pause on tariffs. The markets are ready to go whenever the conditions are right, whether it be news or I think if we just don't hear anything at all, if we can go maybe a day or two or a couple days without any stupid tariff headlines causing sell-offs, the market's probably primed to bid. I think so anyway. But we've got Choopsy in the chat. We've got Wiz saying China fat finger selling US treasuries. The world can't function without China in the US. Math, I wonder if the label text could be abbreviated or made translucent or something. Is that maybe? I think he means maybe on the alternative time frame there.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's something to look at. Yeah, maybe a suggestion to go into the Discord for SMFC if maybe the alternative time frame labels could be made translucent or maybe made smaller. I don't know, or something.
I'm not sure if you can, because I've been doing some stuff with Pine Script, and
yeah,
I think they're kind of built in.
Yeah, so
unfortunately,
worth asking. Maybe see if he can put it on his list. I know he's very busy at the moment.
Yeah, actually, having said that, there probably is there will be a opacity you can probably set there. So yeah, that might be worth doing. I'll tell you a story about my indicator.
Yeah, go on.
Because right. So for anyone watching, there's this indicator I've got here. It's it's basically like 4 stochastic plots, and then it shows like bullish and bearish divergence. And this originally was shown to me by a guy from the Stonksy Discord, a guy called the Imagine Project, who I've not seen around for a little while, actually. Have you seen
him? No, mate. He's not been active for quite a while.
Yeah. Anyway, he showed me this, and at first I thought this was his indicator, but it turns out it was somebody else's. But it was an open source one, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. So I tried to I had the code for it, so I kind of thought, well, I'll have it and then republish it. So I republished it, and it got banned by TradingView because I hadn't written a proper description. So I redid the description, published it again, and it got banned again. I think it was because it had a screenshot where I had Stonksy in the background, and you're only supposed to show one indicator. But maybe the description wasn't that good. Anyway, so by this time, all this stuff had happened. Like an old mate of mine, I'd a chat with him. He's a guy I used to work with, and he's a good coder, you know. And he had a quick look at the Pine scripts and said, "Oh, it can't be that hard to work out. We can get it working properly, and I can rewrite it and all that." Because there were some bits of it that didn't work properly. And you know, that was the idea, was to get him sort of working on it. Now, he did actually have a normal job. He worked as a nurse, and he was on a 0 hours contract thing, and he sort of handed in his notice last week, and I don't think he did it on the strength of he was going to do this instead, but the idea was he would free up his time so he'd be able to work on it starting from Monday this week. And I was going to pay him for it and all that sort of stuff, but I think as well he probably wants to be part of the business as well, and you know, maybe look at a longer term sort of thing, you know, which I thought, you know, it might be a nice way to go, you know. And then what happened? Because the idea is to, you know, fix the things that didn't work properly and get it going and make it into a proper indicator, you know, which would then attract people to my YouTube channel and all that kind of thing. And then what happened over the weekend is one of my viewers got the Pine script for it, which is what indicators are written with, got the Pine script for it and fixed everything and sent me the code.
Oh.
So I kind of like, you know, I plugged it in and it all worked properly. The only thing that didn't work properly, there was a green cross up here that was coming out as a red one, but that was an easy fix. So I fixed that. And now I've got a properly working indicator. And I didn't have a job for my mate to do. And so I sent him an email saying, like, this is a bit awkward, but like, you know, this guy's just come along and fixed everything, so I don't really need you to do anything. And I felt really bad. I still do, actually. And but in a way, you know, I want him to be involved, but if I got him involved now, I'd just be like, you know, I'd be thinking of a job for him to do, which I don't really want to work on that basis. I'd rather, you know, have something to solve and then he gets involved, you know. So it's a bit awkward, that, isn't it? So at the moment, this is just a personal indicator, but I will. Well, I'm waiting to see if the other one appears, the old one. If so, this is an improved version of it. But you know, I'd rather the original creator of it got the credit for it rather than me, and also the guy who fixed it as well. But
has he come back to you, your friend, after that? Awkward.
He just said, well, I said it's a bit awkward, isn't it? And he said, yeah, it sort of is, isn't it? He said, oh well, the ball's in your court. And I don't know what to say to that. I really don't know. But it suddenly made me realise, you know, that I've been working on my own for so long, not just the YouTube stuff, but just, you know, the other work I do as well, you know, it's IT based stuff. I've been working on my own for so long now. I mean, like, you know, 20 odd years, that I've got really used to just working with myself. And but I don't know what to do anyway. Any suggestions, leave them in the comments. But yeah, anyway, I will be hopefully publishing this one way or the other. But the idea with this is, I'll show you. If you look at it on the 1 hour time frame, the idea is when you get loads of these red crosses like together like that normally signifies you're near a bottom, so it kind of works pretty well. When you get loads of green ones, that means you're near a top. So you know, it's quite useful. I would hope at the moment it would show me something. Yeah, I mean, it's actually got this little green background here, which means these stochastics are down at extreme levels. So this actually would show me now that we're likely to go up at open. So I'm going to vote for up rather, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
So anyway, I'll close that down for the minute because it looks a bit confusing. But yeah, so Stonksy, 5 minute showing down. 3 minute is up.
Yeah, I'm just going to run. We've got 5 minutes until open. I'm just going to run the toilet, mate. I'll be back in a second, and then we'll get the open setup on.
Okay.
I won't be a sec.
I'll just blabber away for a minute and have a look in the comments and see what's going on. Right, what should we talk about while he's gone? Rick Mendez says Mac Pro, not MacBook. Mac Pro. Oh, is that one of those? Yeah, the big ones, like the desktop thing. Is that it, or is it an iMac? No, I don't know. Yeah, fair enough. But the thing is, these new MacBook M4s, you know, I think they're just going to become the best-selling laptop in the world. I think, if they're not already, just because they're so good and the price is good. And I think that's going to be one product that's going to be really like screwed over by China tariffs. Okay, debut mastering fear is peak. Yeah, I would say so. Hader Ali, regarding the bot, if it is still in the making, would it be possible to add a feature where if ETH goes up or down, the bot buys or sells Brett? Okay, well, you can actually do stuff, you know. I worked with a guy in South Africa a couple of years ago, and he made a bot that used Telegram and TradingView webhooks. Okay, and what used to happen was you would look for like buy and sell conditions with whatever asset you wanted to look at, and I'll show you. So when you set up an alert, what you would do in the notifications, you would use this here, right? So you'd actually have a webhook in there that I'm not quite sure how it worked, but that would basically send something to Telegram, and then Telegram would work with an API, and I think we were using Bybit at the time, and that would communicate with Bybit, or could be any other exchange, I suppose, and that would, you know, enter or close trades. So sometimes I would do it by mistake, and I would do exactly that. I would actually have the URL to open up a trade in Bitcoin, but I would, on the chart, I'd be looking at something else. I'd be looking at, you know, Ethereum or EGLD or something like that on the chart, and I'd forget that I got the wrong webhook in, and it would actually open and close with the other thing. So what you're saying is, what was it? If Ethereum did something, then it would open up a trade with Brett. It's possible, but obviously with anything like that, you'd have to sort of back test it and see if it was actually worth doing, and you know, work it out from there. I do know from a lot of stuff that Eric Krohn talks about is he does all this bot stuff with Bitcoin because you've got 14 years of history, whereas with any altcoin like Brett, obviously you've only got like a year or two history. So, pardon me. So that is the reason. Yeah, but I'd imagine it's not beyond capability, but that would be a very specific case, and I think that would be something where if you were trading like that, you'd need to know what you're doing. Sorry, Dave, I'm babbling away. You need to set.
No, you carry on, mate. You was keeping everyone entertained for me. Thank you very much.
Oh, you've done it. You're there. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, I've got the chart set up. I've just took yours off and put mine on. We'll come down a little bit on Bitcoin, but not too much. Let's see what anyone's been saying in the chat. We've got 30 seconds until open. TMG's in the chat, says, do I buy or sell?
Both.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? I think we're going to go up. I think we're going to go up, at least for today, maybe. Don't know what happens tomorrow. Obviously, we've got CPI to come in, but I mean, my estimation is that we're going to have a green day. I think the market seems pretty downside exhausted, so I don't know. We'll have to see. There we go. We are open, and we've got a nice little 1 minute candle on both. Bitcoin going back towards 77k. Get the chart. Yeah, charts are on. Good day, Crypto Princess. How are you doing? Where is the bell? The bell has just been rang. Everyone tells me to ring the bell too early. Everyone tells me to ring the bell and too early.
Isn't that because of the? There's a little bit of a delay, isn't there? I mean, it's only about 10 seconds, but like.
Yeah, I don't know. Ring the bell. Yeah, move the bar at the top. The little toolbox. What this? Let's put it up there. There we go. So yeah, we've got pretty much absorption into that 1 minute candle so far.
Okay.
Hedge for the win, says Math, and Gold Sniper says Super TMG. Yeah, do make sure you all drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. And please do subscribe if you're new yet. See, we've got on 29 likes, 30 likes, 52 viewers. So big thank you. Let's close the poll. The consensus was down by 2%. Favorable. Let's get these likes to 40. If you haven't already, do drop a like. We are heading to the upside on Bitcoin in the first couple of minutes of US Open. Bang, there we go. Yeah, I mean, since obviously that China news come in about the tariffs, the market response has been positive. Yeah. We've had positive flow, we've had a positive bounce back. And like I discussed before, I think maybe we're reaching at a point of exhaustion in terms of the tariff talk, because how much more silly could it get between the two before a deal is resolved? And yeah, my long is looking quite juicy now. How nice.
How juicy is juicy?
It's looking all right. It's looking all right. I mean, the main thing is, I didn't want to get stopped out, so it's moving further and further and further away from my my stop loss, which is all I wanted really for today.
mine's 35% in profit.
See what mine. Oh, we are having a nice little open, aren't we? We are having a nice little open. We'll have a look at the Mag 7 in a second. Let's see what mine is.
Yeah, I wonder what to do with
mine is only 2.5, but I am only on 2x leverage.
All right.
But it's looking nice. It's looking nice. I did add some on that dip. So, yeah, my take profit is 82k on this long. If we could get there today, let's get it. Let's see. Yeah, I would like a deviation of Monday's high. I'd be looking to maybe get in a short up here. I don't know, though, with CPI tomorrow. Maybe I would just leave it. But we'll see. First things first is we have to carry on up. Hopefully this isn't just a pump and dump on US Open, but we'll see. Your bell, keep this. Yeah, the thing, I've been told it looks quite funny when I ring the bell, because the bell doesn't come because of obviously the way that the background is. It doesn't capture the bell. Yeah, Liam, Wiz said the exact same thing. I know exactly what you mean. Is Bitcoin following the S&P a few seconds later? It looks like the opposite at the moment. Pretty similar. I mean, by the time the data comes through on this, I imagine this is a bit delayed as opposed to real time anyway. But yeah, very, very similar correlation, especially recently. TMG says you should take profit. We will dump. I am going to leave my long open, whether I hit take profit or stop loss, or get close to both. Well, close to take profit. I would rather it hit my stop loss because my idea is we go up. So there's nothing worse that I've found than having a theory and then doing the opposite with your trade. So my theory coming into today, which is what I voted on the morning team call as well, was that we go higher. So I'll leave it to hit my stop loss or go close to my take profit and take profit.
I have actually moved my stop loss up a little bit.
I mean, it's The fact that we've pumped into the open maybe is alluding to maybe we go down. But I mean, my theory is that the market's becoming desensitized to tariffs, and we're kind of at peak tariff clown show.
Yeah.
So maybe that's true, maybe that's not. We'll have to see.
I'm also thinking of selling me Tesla stock as well.
Mm.
I think I might do that.
We'll see what happens.
4% up at the moment.
It is tricking you. That's fine. That's fine. If I'm tricked, I'm tricked. It's fine by me.
Right.
I'm remaining long and strong. And if I'm tricked and I'm led down the bullish path when we turn to the negative, then so be it. I'll be cut by 1,000 knives. You will lose everything, Dave. Impossible. Impossible. Impossible, because I have my stop loss set at a very reasonable level that I'm happy with losing. So impossible. And I can't lose everything because I already sold everything at 90k. So I am fully in stable coins. So it's impossible for me to lose anything on spot because I'm fully in stable coins, just trading the market on perps. Sold at 90k, as I said on stream at the time. So yeah, I cannot. Apart from obviously what I lose trading, I cannot lose. Your house will be repossessed. Impossible. My stable coins will be repossessed. Well, I mean, I suppose they could get frozen, couldn't they? By Circle or Tether, they can do that. I think. So really? Yeah, potentially. They're not decentralized stable coins, are they?
Oh, okay. So I don't know what to do with me Tesla, and I don't know if to buy any Apple.
Let's have a look. Should we have a look at what's going on over in the Mag 7?
Yeah, please.
Let's see. So we have got Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Tesla up. We've got Nvidia up, obviously created a little gap. We've got Apple up, steamrolling to the upside. We've got Meta marginally down. But I think you're probably more interested. Are you more interested on the daily chart, mate, or what are you? What is this? Is this like a little day trade Tesla from yesterday, or what is your Tesla?
No, just a day trade, pretty much. Yeah. It's just.
I mean, it's hung around these levels in March, hasn't it? You know, you can see kind of whenever it's come in towards here, demand has come into it.
It is.
So I don't know, where are you in from?
Pretty much 220.
Okay.
So, but it's a big position though. So it's if I close it now, I'll get 126 quid.
Yeah, I mean, here, I think it's kind of like KSR below, isn't it? Around towards 200 ish.
It's coming down now.
Kind of like looks like KSR below. Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know why you're talking to me. I'm not a financial advisor.
That's no bloody rules. I come here for solid financial advice.
Oh well. There we go.
I must admit, you know, Stonksy 5 minutes says. Hang on, what does it say? Oh no, it's still short.
Bitcoin is going to 30k. I actually don't disagree. Disagree. If we look at, I can't remember I don't know if I still have it open on a chart or not. I think it might be this one. No, not that one. Is it any of these charts? Do I have any of them open? No. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. That's the one to the downside. I like this level here. So this would be so juicy. But this level you can see is so key on a high time frame. You know, with support obviously all along here. Turned to resistance, then was resistance, and then broke through. I think upon any sort of real harsh bear market or anything, we do get a retest of this, which would be really nice.
What was the all-time high from like 2018 or whenever it was?
It was like 20k, was it? Yeah, just shy of 20k.
Oh, yeah.
But we are pumping to the upside. So, yeah, looking nicer than it was a couple minutes ago.
Right, I'm gonna leave that.
Do not long this. I have plenty of room. I wouldn't long this here. No. Would I get into a long here? Absolutely not. Am I in long from lower down? Yes. But I wouldn't long it here. No. Yeah, either longed either the anywhere this morning or obviously on the dip. But I wouldn't long it here. Dave, you will lose everything. How?
Who's saying that?
TMG, how? What? It's USDC and Tether collapsing, because that's really the only way I could lose everything. I don't trade my positions to liquidation. I have a first stop loss in, which I'm pretty happy with losing, which I would recommend for everyone to trade that way. So I don't know. I mean, at the moment, my trade's looking quite nice.
Yeah,
I'm still going with my plan. I either get stopped out or get close to my take profit. I'm happy with either. $20 Solana, Ethereum 250. That would be pretty wild. That would be pretty wild. I don't think there would be no coming back. I don't think for altcoins at that point. I don't think there's really that much coming back for altcoins anyway after this cycle. I think a lot of people will have been converted to Bitcoin maxis, given the really bad performance on altcoins, but we're pumping up nicely.
Yeah.
So the S&P is getting a really nice bid as well. So everything is going to. So I have been everyone's crystal ball so far today. So you're welcome. I'll take the thank yous in the chat. Everyone now say thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Crystal ball. I told you that we was going to bounce back. Told you.
Yeah,
now, whatever happens from here on is nothing to do with me. So, whatever happens from here on, don't come back and go, oh, what about this thing? What about this? I told you that we were going to bounce back on open.
That's good. I'm 44% in profit.
Yes, mate. There we go. There we go.
I am pushing my stop loss up though, because
yeah.
I can feel it.
Liam says he doesn't know how long 220 holds on Tesla. Yeah,
I know. I'm so tempted to sell it. I'm actually going to sell it. It's worth 200 quid now. So.
Ah, nice, mate. Nice.
Hang on. Do a market sell?
We've got Green Dot. Hello, Yongsi. How we doing, my friend? Bitcoin has never gone below its previous election starting price. Bitcoin had never gone below its 200 weekly moving average before last bear market, or at least closed below it significantly anyway. And then we did it. So, Dimitri says, thank you, legend. Everyone's actually saying thank you in the chat. You guys are all legends. Do make sure you drop a big thumbs up on the stream. Please do drop a like. And if you're new around here, please do drop a like as well. We're getting a bit of a retracement now across Bitcoin and the S&P. A little bit of slight retracement.
All right. I just sold my Tesla. So, what did I get? Hang on.
If anyone does want to trade anything today as well, do make sure you click the first link in the description, or the link I'm posting in the chat now is the BLOFIN sign-up link with the Stonksy. You will get some great welcome bonuses, and it is non-KYC, so you just sign up with an email. Yongsi says he's still shorting. We are getting a snapback now, aren't we, after the open pump? So we've had, what did we get? About 10-15 minutes of decent push up. Well, mainly came in these candles, didn't it?
And we
are snapping back to the downside. So I told you up here, I said you're welcome, but don't come back at me if it goes back down.
Yeah, mine's closed.
Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me if it comes back down.
Mine's closed. I made 32.27%. There you go.
Very nice, mate. Very nice.
I sold the Tesla as well. Just trying to work out what I got for that.
TNG says close and short. We do have 61. Wow, we've got 61 people watching. Big thank you to everyone who's tuned in so far today. It's great viewership. They've all come to see you, mate, it seems.
Of course, yeah.
Do make sure you drop a like on the stream. And if you're wondering what this indicator is, it is Stonksy. You can get, obviously, indicator access to the Stonksy Discord, and you will get whitelisted for the trading bots as well. We run trading bots on BLOFIN that are fully autonomous. All you have to do is follow them. You can get Stonksy for 20% off with code BOT20. Links in the description, second link alongside the code. Do check it out. But yeah, we are getting a retracement now across Bitcoin and across the S&P. Obviously up and then down, up and then down, and then back down, and then up and then back down. So we'll see what is waiting for us today. Potentially we fall through the floor, maybe not.
Maybe. Well, that's good. I made 211 quid on the Tesla stock.
Yeah, it's not bad. And is that the one in the ISA as well?
Yeah. Yeah, so my ISA is now worth 21,592. So that means I've made 1,592 quid since Friday.
Ah, very nice.
Not bad, is it?
It's not bad. It's nothing to be sniffed at, is it?
Yeah.
Nothing to be sniffed at all.
I've actually done better with that than I have with crypto.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's been choppy waters, hasn't it? It's been choppy waters. So, are you in anything at all now, or are you just flat across stocks and crypto?
I've got a Bitcoin trade. No, I haven't actually. No, everything's closed now. So,
okay.
So, is it time to short? That's the question.
You're waiting, aren't you? You're waiting eagerly. Let's see. Should we have a look at Bitcoin? Is that?
I do kind of feel my next one will either be buying some Apple stock, or it will be shorting the next pump of Bitcoin.
Yeah,
I think. What time do you go on to these days?
What?
What time do you finish these days?
So typically I do 2 hours. So we've got another 13 minutes to go.
Okay. Do you mind if I shoot off? Because I've got a few things to do this afternoon.
Of course, mate. Yeah, of course. That's fine. You shoot off. If you want to go and leave me, desert me. If that's what you want, if that's what you want to do, mate, you don't want to spend another 13 minutes with me, then that's fine.
I'll tell you.
I'm only joking. I'm only messing. Yeah, of course, mate. Big thank you for coming on. And for those of you, we've got a lot of viewers actually. We've got 58 on YouTube, and whoever's still watching over on X, do make sure you click the links in the description and follow Save with Crypto across both platforms. So his links are in the description. Do make sure you drop him a subscribe on YouTube and follow him on X. He posts out daily crypto content. And yeah, he'd be very much appreciative of going over and showing him some love across both. So please do that.
I don't want to go now. You've been so nice.
Well, that's it. Tell
you what, maybe I'll just go to the toilet and I'll come back for a few minutes. Is that all right?
No, mate. If you've got stuff to do, you go.
Actually, I should.
If you got stuff to do, you go. You got to go and sit in your pile of cash that you've made over the last few days, haven't you?
Yeah, I know. I'm quite excited about it, actually. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll just I'll thank everyone for coming along, and yeah, it's been nice, and I always do look forward to the Wednesdays, and even better when I make some cash.
Yeah, it's always better when you make some cash, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'll be back next week, and hopefully I'll have some good news about bot winnings and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right.
Yeah, I look forward to it, mate. I always look forward to the Wednesdays.
Excellent. Right, thanks, Dave, and thanks everyone else, and please do check out my stuff. I've got a website called savewithcrypto.org, not .com, so it's savewithcrypto.org. And
I tell you what, hang on, maybe we can go and have a look at it before you go.
And I've got all my links to like how to get hold of me, you know, with Telegram and YouTube and X and all that stuff.
This top one, innit? Yeah.
It even says it's .org, not .com.
Yeah, it's .org, not .com. Here it is.
Okay.
Yeah, do go check him out. Obviously, follow him on YouTube and X as well. Show him some love. But come and check out his website too.
All right, brilliant. All right, well, I'm definitely going to go now. So, right, good luck with your trade. Hopefully, it'll go up to 90k, and all will be well. Right, I'm definitely going to go now. Right, take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.
See you later, mate. Big thank you. Bye. See you later. Bye. And that was Save with Crypto on the show every single Wednesday. Absolute legend. Put some great content together. Yeah, please do go and show him some love. And for the rest of us, your mate sounds like Raoul Pal. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I don't think anyone has ever said that before. But I'm sure he'd love to hear that. I'll tell him that when I next speak to him, Sean. Now thinking about it, does he? A little, I suppose. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. George says big stonks. He does not. I think. Well, I'd say what it is. He's definitely got a very nice, like, narrating voice, hasn't he? What does trade war mean? I'm confused. So literally like a war on trade. So tariffs, which AKA, for anyone who doesn't actually know what a tariff is, it's just tax. So a trade war is a war, but obviously on the side of trade. So import and export. So pretty much what China and the US are doing at the moment is a trade war. You know, they're slapping each other with higher tariffs, aka higher tax. So to import and export for both countries is now costing. So to import, it's costing more. Was it? Or was it both? I can't remember. Yeah, because it'd be import tax, won't it? Yeah. Export. So yeah, I suppose it's passed on to the seller or the buyer. God, one way or another, isn't it? Right. So what are we getting on Bitcoin? We are pushing back to the upside now. So we've obviously had US Open pump, then we've retraced, and then we've kind of rounded off. Obviously, very low time frame, 1 minute chart. I'm pushing back to the upside. So we'll see what we get today. Over in stock market, we do have kind of this diagonal support going on, alongside maybe, you know, if you wanted to draw maybe a double bottom on Bitcoin and the S&P, maybe you get away with it. But we are pushing higher up now, obviously from where we sold off. We're approaching levels that we sold off yesterday. So we'll see as it goes, steady as she goes, and potentially, well, I don't know if I'm even going to take this anymore, so I'm going to take this off. But yesterday I was interested in entertaining a short around 82, so you can see exactly where supply will come into the market. We obviously have the weekly high as well, which is yet to be taken. Which, you know, would run stops above here, run here, and then obviously, of course, the current weekly high on the Monday. But you can see exactly where supply will come into the market if we do approach up here. Maybe that would be a sticking point for the price to retrace back down. We'll just have to see whatever happens. Price would have to get up there first. Raoul Pal from Teemu. Yeah, no worries. I don't understand. All I know is we are already oversold. Well, the thing is, like anything in the markets will start to be forward-looking. So, from my perspective on why I think we go up today, and obviously, you know, we're already fulfilling that, is because I think we're reaching kind of peak tariff fear and peak tariff narrative. So the tariffs that the US and China have imposed on each other, bar them doing a couple of 100%, are probably like at the peak, and probably incentivize, you know, them coming to the table and doing a deal. So yeah, that's my theory. And, you know, markets are forward looking, and the more you hammer something with the markets, so, you know, obviously the one I bring it back to is in 2022 when the Fed were hiking rates and also high inflation. But eventually the market comes to a point where it starts to price in, you know, things starting to become better and stuff like that. And I think maybe, just maybe, we're approaching that point in the markets where we've kind of had, you know, the peak fear and peak selling aggression, and maybe the markets are now starting to maybe see value in the market or pricing in better things ahead. Obviously, it might not turn out that way, but that's just one theory of mine, which is working well so far today. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you are looking to trade anything, do make sure you click that BLOFIN link in the description. Create your non-KYC account in under a minute with just your email. And yeah, come trade over at BLOFIN. Should we see what the liquidity is showing? Because obviously we've had a bit of a volatile move today, haven't we, to the upside and the downside. So we do have immediate liquidity towards 78, it looks like, which is not too far away from being grabbed. We then do have, obviously, liquidity above 81k, which you can clearly see on the chart as well. Like I mentioned before, stops above here, and obviously above the Monday high. So that is no surprise, yeah. Big liquidity above there. And then obviously to the downside, below the double bottom that we've got so far. If we run, the 1 week heat map. Big liquidity at 85k again. You know, you'll be able to see that because above these highs. So yeah, main chunk of liquidity is looking up. Nothing really too much on 2 weeks. So we'll just have to see how things develop, won't we? But for me, I'm just treating this as a range now. So this is kind of becoming a range. You've now got the range low. You can see it better on this that I drew out on stream before. So you've got the local range high. We've then got... hang on. Let me bring this closer in here. So you got the local range high, which is, you know, around 87 and up to 88-ish. You've then got demand, obviously, where demand is coming into the market all the way down to about 74.5. We've got the monthly open. We have got some local resistance here as well. But this is pretty much, I think, one range now. So I think you can pretty much safely, until it's broken, you know, below or above, we could treat this as a trading range. So we'll see how it develops anyway. But if it does develop, then potentially, yeah, we've got a trading range set here where you've got range low, range high. You buy one, you sell the other. And then when one breaks, you trade it in that direction and it's broke towards. But we need to see, you know, obviously price develop. If we start pushing into the 80s, then that gives a pretty cemented range low then. Okay, pushing up now, pushing up. We're going to maybe try and take the daily high. Maybe we're trying to go and take the daily high now. Raymond, I don't know if you're still in or not, but nice. He said, thanks, Dave. So Raymond made 20% from, it appears, by following my theory that we'd pump on US Open. So we put that in the Stonksy Discord, in the BLOFIN Profit and Loss channel. Do check it out if you're in the Discord. Big up, Raymond. There you go, mate. You're welcome. Earned some nice pennies. Yeah, I mean, for me, it just seemed like playing the counter trend. So there's a lot of fear and stuff like that in the market. And to me, the absorption after the sell-off seemed strong. So it just seemed clear as day that we were going to bounce on open. So sometimes it's not even about mostly what the chart is telling you. Mostly it's about trying to look at the psychology of the market and say, well, what is probably most people doing? Most people may be frozen in fear or whatever. And you can take advantage of that. TMG says, in an hour or so, America will do something with tariffs. And it will tank potentially because obviously China's made the last move, hasn't it? In upping tariffs on the US to 80 odd %. So maybe the US hits back today and increases it from, I think they're at 104% or something. So maybe Trump just goes full bazooka mode and hits them with 200% or something. But personally, I like to trade the chart and not news. So until the chart shows me something that goes against my idea, I'll trade the chart. So currently in a very nice comfy position from where I'm open on my long, and yeah, I'm pretty happy for it to go to stop loss or take profit. Currently there's been no invalidation on my idea so far. We'll see if that changes this afternoon, but it is pushing up very nicely alongside obviously S&P relief. So I mean, doesn't seem like a million miles away for why not fully retrace yesterday's dump in the US session. Why not? There's nothing stopping it now, is there? We've had good absorption. So I think why not go and target yesterday's high? Really nice push up on Bitcoin. Here we go, yeah. It's coming in really nice now. Let me check it out. Oh, yeah. I am tempted to move my stop loss to entry now, I think. Because if we was to come back down to my entry, I wouldn't be too happy with where the price would be looking at. So maybe move it up, yeah, to avoid risking the market. So I'm pretty much risk-free on this trade now. We are a nice chunk away from my entry, which is now pretty much my stop loss. And I'm looking for around 82k. I'm looking for a run of these highs. You can see it better on this chart. So I'm looking for, price to come in and potentially start running these highs here. Oops. So potentially start coming in and running these highs maybe. And this is obviously where I think supply comes into the market. Whether we get that high or not is obviously a different story. But yeah, currently I have my take profits set at 82. I'd probably be tempted to start shaving some off if we started getting up here. But for now, sitting comfy in a risk-free long. So as long as we, if we get strength throughout today, should be in a good position come this afternoon. Still here, Dave. Ah, yes, Raymond. I like your trade, mate. I like your trade. Very nice. Don't spend it all at once. So yeah, if anyone does obviously want to trade like Raymond, do sign up to BLOFIN with the link in the description. And you can obviously join the Stonksy Discord as well by signing up to Stonksy. The link is the second link in the description, and the code is there for 20% off. So when you come over to the Stonksy page, click start now. Obviously, you'll select the monthly option because that is the option to get your discount. So you get 20% off. So it'll take it down to just £116 per month for your first month. Click the monthly button. That'll take you to obviously create your account and put the discount in and stuff. But if you do want to pay in crypto, click this email address, hyperlink, and just email in, say hi. You want to try the monthly sub with the bot 20 discount. And it is just a rolling plan as well. So you just pay month by month. And even though you're using the discount, you get access to everything. The indicator, the Discord, and the trading bots. Why does the CME gap never seem to fill when it goes down over the weekend? Because we're in a downtrending market, aren't we, at the moment? So as you can see, pretty much from late March, the trend, obviously this was caused by Trump's tariff thing, but the trend has been down. But potentially we've formed what might be demand. So low time frame, potentially maybe we see a shift. At least maybe there's a gap up here, isn't there? There's a couple of gaps. There's obviously a gap up towards here, 84.5k, but then there is also a gap between these two candles. When the CME closes for an hour, we created a gap here, so there's a gap all the way up to 86 as well. Does CME liquidity show up in the CoinGlass Lick heat map? No, not that I'm aware of anyway. Not that I'm aware of. We're getting a bit of a sell-off on Bitcoin and the S&P now. So taking the current daily highs and forming a long upper wick on this hourly candle. So, I mean, maybe we get a sell-off now. We'll have to see, won't we? Maybe we're going to get a sell-off. Who knows? Was that the squeeze over? Getting a push back down in. So, we'll see. I'll be careful spending it. 30 mins post open reversal, baby. That's what they want you to believe, James. Yeah, we'll see, won't we? But yeah, big thank you to everyone who's joined today. It's been a mega stream. Covered lots. Obviously, Save with Crypto has been on as usual for every Wednesday. So yeah, do make sure you click them links in the description, sign up to BLOFIN, and do take advantage of the Stonksy 20% discount. It'd be great to see you guys over in the Discord who aren't. And that's all from me today. It's been a pleasure. Been a nice little amount of volatility from when we've been streaming as well. I've enjoyed it. And yeah, obviously, be careful in the market because we are witnessing a lot of volatility and, high impact headlines. So obviously just be a bit careful with your leverage and your risk and stuff that you've got in the market. But I'll catch you all for tomorrow's stream, which should be fun. We'll see what's happened between now and then. And yeah, take care and take it easy. Hopefully make some profits in the market. Ciao for now. And yeah, if anyone does join Stonksy using the discount, make sure you let me know in the Discord. It'd be great to see who's joined from the stream. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye.